Hello and good morning, you two. How are you doing?
Good. How about you, Arrow?
We're wonderful.
Wow, that is absolutely fantastic. You're doing something with these diaries. Now, let me ask, I'm just going to be, because I am a daily writer, and I've been a daily writer since July of 1994. There we go. And so a lot of people that I try to help understand why you journal write, they stand back going, I could never release it. I could never do anything. Is this a physical journal? Is it a diary? Or is it a storyline?
For Dork Diaries?
Yes.
Yes, it is based on the life of Nikki, my daughter's here.
Yeah.
So it's fiction technically, but a lot of the stories and things are inspired by real life events that she experienced.
See, that's what I love about it, because, you know, a lot of people like to hide with their writing when, in fact, I mean, you're showing people that, look, there's still a lot of fun things that you can put out there and share it, because we have our own personal experiences. We can all go through the same thing, but we're not wearing the same shoes. And that's what's fun about writing, is that you're able to share the experience.
Very, very true. Very true. I totally agree.
The illustrations are kind of funny because we're all doodlers, and I love the way, I mean, I realize these are beautiful pictures of people, especially when the smartphone conversations and things, but I love the way that you make it look so authentic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. This is Nikki here.
Well, Nikki, what's the concept of having the illustrations and things like that? Is it just to entertain the reader, or is it something that you were feeling at the time?
It's a little bit of both. I'm thinking about what the reader would like to see and what would be the most entertaining in that moment. And I'm also channeling my own feelings and experiences to make the artwork more authentic.
And what's funny about this, and I giggle like a child only because I live it. I love the size of sometimes the spelling, like when you're going stop. I mean, you're not following the rules of spelling correctly. You're putting it in there exactly the way you feel it in that moment.
Yes, correct.
And I would add, too, that the inspiration for Dork Diaries was that Nikki has been journaling probably since she was old enough to actually write. I started out buying her just the little spiral notebooks you see in the grocery stores. She would inevitably fill it up in just a few days. And to this day, when she comes into work, I built a studio in my home, and she comes in every day and works in her art studio. She spends the first half an hour to an hour of the morning journaling and writing in a diary, even now. So it's totally authentic just to her.
Well, let's talk about that from one journal writer to another one, because I'm 29 years into this journey, and the question is, what am I going to do with all of these books when my time on Earth is over? I'm going to ask you, what's going to happen to all of that writing?
That's a really good question, Arrow. Well, first of all, I keep all my diaries and journals where I can see them.
Yes.
Some are in random places in the basement, and I want to bring them out, dust them off, and keep them right where they are. And then as long as the legacy of Dork Diaries continues within the family, I'd probably like to pass them down to my family members and inspire them to continue writing and journaling everything in their lives.
I swear we came from the same mold, because my writing, all of my books are inside this studio because there's still energy in the pages where the ink is. And so you're right. I have to see and I don't hide my journals. They're out in the open.
Yes, same here. Well, I have one in my office. It's kind of like a plannery where I plan my day and journal in it too, and I fill it out with lots of colorful, fun stickers. And then there are also some in my bedroom as well. So it's both public and then also a little private, depending on how I feel about the entry.
Why Dork Diaries? Because, dork is kind of one of those words. And the reason why I bring that up is because there have been many times that I've said, what a dork. Quit being a dork, dude. Just, come on, change it.
Yes, exactly. And that's what my daughter was going through. Her dad is like 6'4" or so, and so she inherited his height. So she's what are you, 5'10"? Yeah, she's 5'10", probably even closer to 5'11". And she was always the tallest child in her class from kindergarten on up, through even high school. So she was teased for that. Kids, called her skinny Minnie and all kinds of and she was bullied and made to feel awkward due to the fact that she was, taller, the tallest kid, taller than the boys even, in most cases. So that was something she had to deal with, especially through elementary school and middle school. Now, by the time she got to high school, all the, kids were, growing into their full height, so it wasn't quite as bad then. But that's something she had to deal with. And when I decided to write a book, I wanted it to be something inspiring, and I thought if I could kind of capture some of the anguish that Nikki and even her sister to a certain extent were going through growing up, and put that out in the world and add a little humor and show that there's hope and that kids just need to hang in there and things will get better, and that there's other kids out there that they can be friends with that are kind and that will value them and be friends for them. So that was my goal with Dork Diaries, was to capture, some of the experiences that Nikki was having and put it out there with humor and then have it be an inspiration to kids.
Oh, I love
and
that.
I think it works because we're at 55 million copies and 46 countries and 42 languages.
Wow.
So Dork Diaries has gone all the way around the world and kids are reading it all over the world.
I truly understand why by inspiring kids to write. That's always been one of my arguments with teachers. It's like, I understand you're sharing, the ideas on why they should read and why they should read this and read this. But if they don't learn how to put a pen or a pencil in their hand and write their own stories, they're missing out on the greatest part of the journey.
I totally agree. With you.
So now, Nikki, just between us two here, because we're journaling, does your mom journal? I mean, is your mom journaling too? And do you get to read her stuff?
No, probably not as much as me. I'm a real journal head. I do it pretty much daily.
Yes, yeah, I don't. I'm so busy between, the books and, whatever. But, so yeah, Nikki diaries enough for me and herself. But she's definitely, and that's why I chose the whole diary format, because both her and her sister, love journaling. But like I said, Nikki does it to this day. Yeah. So Nikki Maxwell writing in a diary is basically my daughter Nikki writing in a diary.
And if I could quickly add, I've really gotten into the Q&A a day journaling thingy where you answer one question a day, and it asks you each year for about 5 years, and you see how your answers change. I've gotten into that lately, and I do it almost daily. It's a lot of fun.
I love doing that as well, and I call that defragging, because we defrag a computer. Why can't we defrag our mind, body, and soul as well? But you're absolutely right. Asking the questions and questioning the answers. You're so spot on that.
Yes. And then my favorite, when I do sit down and, try to take time, my favorite journaling is gratitude journals. Yes. I like to, even if it's just a little list of 5 things or 10 things that I'm totally grateful for. So that would be my favorite format. And it's a little bit faster too.
The fun part about Dork Diaries, this particular journey, it says Tales from a Not So-Posh Paris Adventure. The fact that you were writing while you were out and about, I mean, that's what journal writers do. It's almost like we are making the map for future readers to say, this is where we were, this is what I experienced. It didn't go so perfect, but I'm going to share it with you anyway.
Totally correct. Definitely.
But to be that open and honest, I mean, we all like taking trips. Like, for instance, like if I go on a camping trip, I've got all my journals with me, and I'll sit there next to the campfire writing away. And that's what I feel when you're in Paris inside this book. It's like, oh my God, she's doing exactly what I do as well as a journal keeper.
Yes, and then you capture the good, the bad, the ugly, the wonderful, the humorous, just any and everything, that moves you. You can record it.
Are you using a writing instrument in any, or are you typing it all out?
So I do the good old-fashioned pen and paper.
Yeah.
There's just something so cathartic about it. That's my favorite. Although sometimes I wonder what it's like to do it on the computer, because with pen and paper you sometimes make mistakes and have to sketch stuff out. But with the computer, it's easy to delete and start afresh. So I've been considering computer lately.
Well,
too.
Julia Cameron from The Artist Way says that's when the perfectionist is going to step in, and the things that you wanted to say, you're just going to keep erasing and going back, and you're never going to get done with your 3 pages that day.
Oh, well, maybe I should just stick to pen and paper then.
Because you have books, right? Yeah, she actually writes in books.
It feels more authentic that way for me.
Do you have a favorite kind of journal? Because, I mean, I am one of those people. I have one of those gigantic art books. That's the paper I like because my left hand has got to be cuddled up to the texture of that page while I'm writing. Does paper, is it important to you as well?
Yes. So one of my favorite things to do is go to stores where they have journals and just leaf through all of them and admire the covers and the page format. All of that matters to me as well. I like getting journals that look really, really nice on the cover. Yeah. The cover looks so nice, and the pages have just enough lines for me to write as much as I need to, because I write a lot, and I also like to skip lines. That way it's easier for me to follow the entry.
And then the last diary you got, was it oversized? Wasn't it kind of large?
Yes.
The one that came in, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
It was so beautiful. I'm like, Nikki, I saw her diary.
And there were prompts inside of it too. The prompts gave me topics to write about, which was good.
And it was so beautiful. I want one. I ended up buying the exact same thing, and they were oversized, and they reminded me of art books. It was like a textured leather cover. It was just gorgeous. It was beautiful just to look at.
Do you ever have those moments when you go into the store and when you're purchasing the journal, it's like they sit there and they make a comment, and inside your mind you go, you have no idea what's about ready to grow inside these pages.
Yes, a lot of thought goes into what you put into your journal. So yes.
Yeah. Are you expecting people to reach out to you and talk about their own journals, or how can I get started? Because this seems to be such an interaction type of book.
Actually, we have two books that are set up to encourage kids to start keeping their own diaries.
Nice.
Our fourth book is How to Dork Your Diary, and it's a story about Nikki losing her diary and having to start over. And when she's starting over, she explains the process to kids. And then in that book, I think the last 50 pages are blank for kids to start, their own diary. And then we made a daily journal, and that's like book 7, and it's OMG All About Me Diary. And that book is a annual calendar, and each day there's a journal entry. There's a kind of the Q&A where there's either a topic that you discuss or there's a question that asks, and there's 365 of those in there. But each journal also has 3 sections, so you can come back the following year and answer the questions again, and then answer the third year. And then when you look back, you can see, how you've grown, or stayed the same, or what's changed and what's not. So we have 2 books that are Dork Diaries branded books that encourage kids to keep diaries and to journal and all of that. So that it's not only loving the series, they can immerse themselves in the whole diary process as well.
How old are you, Nikki? And the reason why is because we've all endured a lot in the past 10 to 20 years. And it's like, I mean, as journal writers, we document history. And when you talk about going back 3 years and things like that, we can learn a lot from how we grew through the storms that were around us that we had no control over, but yet as writers, we still documented it.
Yes, so I am 38 years young, and I've seen a lot and I've heard a lot, and it's great to have a place to share all my feelings and observations in a diary.
Yeah, because I mean, I was writing during 9/11, and to go back there and to read it and to relive it, my God! I mean, I don't understand how it didn't affect me even more than what it did. Because in my present place at 61, the emotion that was put into the page.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yep. There are very emotive entries as I look back on everything I went through as well. It truly is, and you relive it all as you read it.
Do you write in third person? And the reason why I bring that up is because when you're sitting here as Brandon and Nikki, don't you dare just sit there alone. Come and join us. I mean, all of a sudden it's like, okay, that's your own little world that you've created, and it's like, to me, that I love it when you can take it to another level.
Mm-hmm. So I write in first person, just like Nikki does, and it just helps me to rehash everything from my perspective. What about you, Arrow?
Well, there are times, because I keep so many different journals. There are times where it's just me writing, like when I defrag, it's me asking the question and then questioning the answers. But then there are times that, because I take it and I put them into podcasts, I think about that listener while I'm writing, because I don't want it to be all about what I'm doing. And so therefore I take it to that kind of a level.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Very cool.
Now, one of my favorite parts is where you're a little bit angry with Mackenzie. Now, as a journal writer, did you ever in your own writing way put a curse on somebody? Because I'm guilty of that. I'm coming through radio. I put a curse on people, and it's like, don't do that.
So, I admit when I'm really, really upset, sometimes I do what Nikki does. I can criticize myself. Yeah. And looking back, I realized I needed to vent and be honest. I was just really, really disapproving of myself in that moment. But it also hurts to put yourself down, and you need to be in the routine of also building yourself up, because you need yourself to pull yourself out of that valley in that slump. Some of the times when I write in my diary, I feel very upset. And the very best way to get out of feeling upset is to think positive. Mm-hmm. It's not always easy, but it does help.
Well, do you use what I call hidden speak? In other words, even though you do have that negative vibration, even for you, Rachel, is that you use the power of positive thinking to create a sentence to kind of refuel your thought process and get it on that positive way of thinking. So in other words, you basically, you hidden speak it. In other words, you don't speak it out the way it really is. You kind of just rewrite it, because winning is a choice.
Exactly. And then I think I hear a lot of feedback. Nikki Maxwell, a lot of times will say something, and it will be the truth, and it will be how she feels, but she ends it with, but I just said it inside my head, so nobody heard it
but me. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's kind of, I'll tell Mackenzie, will you please be quiet? I'm tired of you putting people down. I'm tired of you being so selfish. Just be quiet and just, quit harassing people. And that's what she will write in her diary. Yep. But then she said, but I just said that in my head and nobody else heard it except me. And so that's how she's able to vent sometimes. She'll say exactly what she's thinking, but she would never say it out loud because she's not quite that. I
totally agree with that. And then what is it? The experts say that we should just write it out and then just throw it away. I don't have the courage to throw it away. I want to hold on to it a different day.
A journal, you don't want to throw the journal away, though. So yeah, hold it in your.
Congratulations on Dork Diaries, Tales from a Not So-Posh Paris Adventure. Please come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
Yes, well, thank you, Arrow.
I enjoy speaking with you.
Same here.
Yep. Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
Thank you.
We'll try.
Same to you.
Thank you. Have a great day.